Hi, my name is Mike Robertson, Robertson Construction. Thanks for watching my videos. If you get a chance, subscribe, I'd appreciate it. Hey, today what we're going to do is we're going to put a new construction window inside this wall. And I want to put it right here. And what we want to do is find the studs. And I know that there's a stud here. You can hear it. It's hollow. So there's a stud here. And they're 16-inch on center. So if I know there's a stud there, then there's going to be one here. And then there's also going to be one here. Since I want to put it in between here, I want to remove this section of drywall from the ceiling to the floor because I know I need to put a header in. It's a bearing wall, it's on the outside. You have the rafters coming down, sitting on the top plate. And if there isn't a header in here, header material, I've got to put it in. And the way I do it is I'll cut down and the center of the 2x4, remove the nails or the screws so that I'm cutting on the 2x4. If you cut into the side of the 2x4, the problem is you may cut electrical, plumbing, or gas lines with your Sawzall blade, causing a real big problem. And right now you don't know what's inside this wall. So what I'm going to do is I will remove these, and how I normally do that is I'll take a magnet and I'll find where the screws or the nails are. I'll mark those, remove those going down vertically on both sides, and then I'll go ahead and draw a line and I will remove the drywall so it'll expose the framing, and then I'll know how to go ahead and hack it out and frame it in for the new one. So you can see what I'm doing is I drew the line down, I used the magnet to find the screws, I'm removing the screws, and then what I'll end up doing is removing that drywall all the way down by cutting right on that line, which will be the center of the stud. Okay, you can see I went ahead and with the magnet I scraped where all the screws are. Now I'm going to remove these screws, then I'm going to cut the drywall and remove this piece to expose the framing. Okay, so I removed the screws, and now I'll show you one line. I will use a Sawzall. Typically the blade is running that way. I'll take the blade off, turn it around so that I can lay this against the wall. So this is the way I would normally do it. So you can also cut with your knife and just stay on the line with a sharp blade. It usually takes 2 passes. That should be enough to remove your drywall. Okay, so I've cut that and now I'll remove it. So that one was a Sawzall blade and one was a knife. And it's 2 pieces, so I'm going to try to be careful with it, even though I'm going to be putting some of it back, but not all of it. So you got the insulation, you'll want to take that out and save it, because you're going to reuse it. Okay. So the window's going to go in here, and it's a 24-inch window. So what I would do is let's just call this our center, and we're going to go 12 You use that part of the tape measure to make a mark. That's 12 to 24. Okay. All right, so this is going to have to come out. And then the window, I have 36 1/8 down, although we have a double top plate. And it looks like we'll need to actually add a header though. So the header is a 4x6, which is 5.5 inches. So this one is going to completely remove. It's going to come down 5.5 inches for the header. And then we're going to come down 36 1/8. So again, I'll flip this. I'll just take the 36 1/8, hold my finger on it, and I'll make a mark. Now that's going to be the top of the bottom sill, and the bottom sill is going to be doubled. 2 2x4s. The 2x4 is 1.5 inches, so it's another 3 inches. So when we could actually leave this if we wanted to, but we need to bring it down another 3 inches for the 2 2x4s for the window. Okay, so for removing this stud, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut here. I could plunge cut this with my skill saw, or I could cut it with my Sawzall, or I could plunge cut it with a skill saw and finish with the Sawzall is what I'm going to go ahead and do. So I'm going to show you that. Okay, and then what I'll do is finish it off. Finish it off with the Sawzall up to the OSB on the back. So I'll have to go back and forth on both sides. And come to the other side and finish it off. It's on an angle. Okay, so you saw how I removed this 2x4, and I brought that down for basically for what I needed, minus the 3 inches for the bottom 2 2x4s. I've got the header coming in, it's a little over 5.5. It's fresh wood, so it's got a little water content, so it's more like, you know, probably 5 9/16. Then we're going to go with the 2x4s at the bottom, with 2 legs on either side to hold them. We'll put the header in, and then we'll fill this in with 2 2x4s on either side. It should give me exactly what I need at the 24x36. I'm going to screw these in with GRK screws. We'll go ahead and screw in the header. Okay, so that should be 24x36. Double check. It's 24 1/16 by 36 1/16. So if all that's correct, and we cut this out on the opposite side, the window should fit it. Just like that. So the way that I remove the shear on the opposite side is I can do the same. I take a screw I'll put a hole in the corner. That corner, this corner. Basically all 4 corners I run a screw through. And then I'll go to the opposite side and take my level. I'll scribe on the plywood, and then I'll put screws or nails in the stud an inch and a half back, or excuse me, a half inch back, all the way around. And then I'll cut out the plywood. And I'll go ahead and show you that. Okay, now we're on the back side of the wall, and where I've actually drilled the holes through the other side are here and right down here. We're going to draw a line from that because we're going to end up cutting that with a saw. Okay, and then we also have one here. And we got one down here. So we'll go ahead and mark those holes. Okay. Now you can cut that out with a Sawzall. Like I told you what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put screws on the outside a half inch around here because I know there's wood all the way around. Okay, so we'll use the Sawzall and we'll come across the bottom here. And he's a little downward pressure. Okay. Continue up the top. Okay, so that looks good. Okay, so we have house wrap here. Now, when I'm on my construction jobs, if I'm going to go with stucco, and again, I'm not doing it myself, I have a subcontractor. I will just put the flashing around the window, which is usually either bitch-a-thing or a sticky flashing, or even just this other type of roll. And both of them come from Home Depot or Lowe's, so it doesn't really matter. This one's just kind of nice because it sticks. But I'll just put that around the window, only this far out. I leave it through them because they like to go ahead and tuck and lap everything over. But I'm going to plan on putting some wood siding on this after to show you how I do that. And since I'm going to do wood siding, I'm going to go with a house wrap. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and finish up with the wrap, and then I'm going to cut this, put the flashing on, and then finish up with the top piece. Now this stuff's just put on with staples, so you basically just, you want to go over at least 5-6 inches on either side. This stuff just peels apart. And what I'll do is on this one, I'll hold it up a little high and then I'll fold it to the inside. You could also double up the bottom. I've noticed some places have rubber corners. We don't have rubber corners. At least I haven't seen them here. We usually just kind of make it ourselves. So we'll hold it up a little higher. Like that. Stick it on. Take my knife, again, cut it down, straight down, and then fold it in. And then you'll do the two sides. I'll hold it up here, go down to the bottom. Sometimes you don't want to peel it all the way. If you peel it, it slaps against the wall, it'll stick. It's a mess. So I'll start it. This one you don't need to go in. Just hold it to the bottom near the edge. And then bring it up. Okay. Same thing with the other side. Hold it up to the bottom. Peel it back, hold the paper within it, and then the bottom. Like that. Now if you want to do a little bit more, you can come into here on the sides. You can get a little creative with it. You can come around in here. You can come this way and fold it and lap it, which would be like this. Again, usually want it over. So this stuff's pretty sticky. If you heat it up, it's actually a little bit better to come back off. But you can take this, put it in here. Corner. So when I set the window, I do sometimes use Sikaflex, and I'll put that in the corners. It's a little overkill, it's pretty expensive, but I still like to use it. I'll put it in the corners. And then around the window, I'll just use a DAP, but it's a window door trim and siding DAP. It's also paintable, 100% waterproof. And I'll put a bead of that right down around all four sides, and then set the window on it. And then I'll use rust-resistant screws to screw the window on. And then after you screw the window on, you'll want to put a dab of this over each screw head to seal that. And then and I'll show you, I'm not going to use the silicone part, but I'll go ahead and screw the window on, and then I'll show you what I do also with the flashing after I get the window on. Okay, and again, I apologize for my cabinetry, and this is a wall I built in my shop to do this demonstration. And I know it's a little confusing to see through it, but if you can get past that, that'd be great. So I pre-cut a couple shims. They're about 3/16 in thickness, and I'm going to set them inside that the window's going to sit on. Again, I put silicone on here and squash them down, or I'd use a little nailer, little brad nailer or a crown stapler, and pop them down so they didn't fall out, especially if I was doing this by myself. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is, again, remember, it would have been caulked all the way around. I'm going to set this in, hopefully without moving the shims. Okay. Right, so now what I'm going to do is I'll take a little torpedo level, and I'll set it on the top. And I'm almost level right there, actually. So right there looks good. And that's perfect. That's perfect. So what I'll do is I'll prep my screw gun, set the torpedo level on top. I know that I'm good side to side. I'm going to slide it just a little because I only had a 1/2 inch, so 1/4 inch on either side. I'll lift it up to level. And then I'm going to put a screw in the holes. Hold it in place. And again, normally what I would do is get done and I put caulking over the head of each screw. Seal it in. And that's perfect. So you go around and you put screws in all of them. Now you can see that this is nice and sealed. With the caulking under it, it would have been really sealed, solid. And then with caulking over the screws, no water is going to get in.
You install the window.
Fill all the holes. You don't have to fill all the head, because sometimes new construction, the beam will start sagging, and if the beam sags, it'll bring your window down with it. But since we have a gap between it, if the beam sags, a lot of times it won't actually make that sag down and cause a conflict with the operation of your window. Okay, so the window is set. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and seal the top. Okay, so now this window would have been caulked behind it, and caulking would be put all over each screw. So now you take your flashing, you put it over the flange and over the top of the leg and bring it all the way across. Okay, so that's how you take a wall and you frame in from the inside, cut out the ply on the outside, whether or not you had to bust stucco or something to get to the shear wall, if there was shear. Or if not, then you would have had to put something on or just go to the studs. It wouldn't really matter. But then to cut in and set and flash a new construction window. Just realize the house wrap in the end, I'm not going to do that because I'm going to save this for another video that I'm going to be putting trimmer on this window. But the next layer of house wrap would go on and continue the same way. So it's an over, and over all the way down so no water penetrates. So hopefully leave a comment for me. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask those. I'll try to get back to you as best I can. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care.